All right, well, we're getting plenty of rain and snow here in the eastern Sierra. That means some, well, obviously road closures and, yes, some school closures. US 395 has been closed a couple of times this week between Mammoth Lakes and June Lake due to whiteout conditions, but at last report was opened as of this morning at about 6 o'clock. That was good news. Now, State Route 158 in June Lake doing a little bit of avalanche control there, so that is closed, but there is a detour on North Shore Drive. But again, Caltrans doing some avalanche prevention work on 158. Now, Mammoth Unified School District has been red days for the last 2 days. That's good for the kids maybe, but tough for those parents that work. Tuesday and Wednesday, both red days for Mammoth Unified School District. Weather and road conditions just making it unsafe for the students to travel to schools. Meetings were also canceled, including the Mono County Board of Supervisors called off its Tuesday meeting due to the road closures and nasty conditions. Now in Inyo County, high winds shut down US 395 between Pearsonville and Bishop on a couple of occasions. Also today, the phone lines were kind of up and down in Inyo and Mono counties. Folks are working on that, and that seemed to have that problem done by about midday. Now, in light of the snow and rain accumulation that has occurred within the town of Mammoth Lakes during the last week, Mammoth Lakes Fire Department wishes to remind residents of several life safety items. Press release notes these include the accumulation of large amounts of snow and ice sitting on roofs, the blocking of vents by snow accumulations, maintaining clear emergency egress doors and windows, and the maintenance needed to safely use propane in snow country, as well as a request for residents in town to help keep hydrants available for use. Now, that press release notes with the large accumulations of snow, especially the very wet snow, Mammoth Fire Marshal Tom Heller said roofs in our community are supporting a tremendous load. Also, many exhaust vents are getting covered by the accumulating snow. Some signs of excess loading include interior doors and windows that do not open or close easily, cracks that occur in sheetrock walling, and bowing in timber members and ceiling walls. Now, some buildings have experienced roof collapse without demonstrating any of the aforementioned signs. Occupants, the press release notes, need to determine if the weight of the snow that is resting on their roofs should be dealt with. Now, safely removing snow is also an issue, and if you do not feel that you can accomplish that task, highly recommended by the Mammoth Fire Department that a professional be sought to perform the work. Remember that falling from roofs is a very frequent occurrence and can result in serious injuries. I think we've all fell from at least one roof while doing some snow in Mammoth, huh? Now, when temperatures increase, roofs are going to experience sliding or ice buildup. Tremendous amounts of weight can come cascading off a roof without any warning. Might want to avoid areas of roof disposition and falling icicles when walking, and carefully choose your parking spots. Now, with the increasing snowbanks around town, press release notes you should be very careful as to where children are playing. Snow slides off steep banks and snow removal equipment will be working the streets and may not see the children playing on the banks. Also, intersections are becoming difficult to see approaching vehicles and pedestrians, and the press release notes, please proceed with caution at each intersection. Now, for those homeowners that use propane, keep the top of the tank dug out to allow for quick access to the shutoff valve. Users of propane appliances need to make sure that vents are able to function properly and not blocked by snow. Now, if an occupant of the building should smell propane, immediately evacuate the structure. Call 911 for assistance. Lastly, the press release notes there are fire hydrants located throughout the town of Mammoth Lakes that are used by the fire department in the event of a fire. And as we get to this time of year, many of the hydrants get buried under the snow. Fire department is requesting interested individuals to routinely shovel out the hydrant nearest to their home. And the press release notes that if maintained frequently, the amount of work is minimal and may even be shared by several neighbors. If you would like more information on any of these items, urged to contact the Mammoth Fire Department, and they say you can call anytime at 760-934-2300. Mono County Sheriff's Office notes wind and blizzard risks may decrease on Thursday. However, considerable travel delays should still be expected. As always, remember to check the road conditions and the weather once the advisories have been lifted and it is safe to resume travel. Also, the accumulation of several feet of new snow paired with the gusty winds increasing the potential for large avalanches to occur. Now, the areas most at risk, and especially as of this morning, Twin Lakes Road past Twin Lakes Resort, Crowley Lake Drive from the north end of Highway 395 to McGee Creek Road, as well as Rock Creek Road from 395. The Swall Meadows avalanche paths may also be at risk. Road crews have been instructed to refrain from plowing the above-mentioned roads. Evacuations are not being ordered at this time. However, residents should be advised of the potential for avalanche activity. Well, Deb Murphy filed this story for Sierra Wave Media. If the residents of West Bishop were hoping for the silver bullet to solve their high water table issues, they were disappointed. On the bright side, the report from the California Department of Water Resources, the DWR, arrived at the theories expressed by Inyo County's water department. Seepage from the ditch system and residential ponds probably caused the high water table and subsequent seepage out of yards and into crawl spaces. Inyo County Water Department Director Bob Harrington used the county's drought emergency declarations to bring in hydrologists from the DWR last summer. The final 75-page report came in last month. It was complete with charts on water table depth from monitoring wells, as well as flow meters from Bishop Creek into tributary ditches and then through the communities on either side of West Line Street. Harrington developed his best guess on the high water table when the Los Angeles Department of Water and Table shut the water off to the ditch system through the winter of 2014 and 2015. Now, some residents used the dry spell to clean out their ditches and ponds, and when the spring irrigation season started and flows matched the Chandler Decree irrigation requirements, the water table shot up at an alarming rate. Harrington's theory, the recharge of a depleted water table, was the culprit. Now, the Department of Water Resources report came to the same conclusion, offering data from the monitoring wells and flow gauges to back up that conclusion. Now, while the report points out that conclusion is not completely proven by comparing data, Harrington said the lack of perfect correlation could be explained by the distance between surface water gauges and the problem area. The report indicated spring and summer precipitation could be the reason for the discrepancies. Unfortunately, the DWR report didn't have any solution for residents, many of whom have already tackled the problem with pumps and diversion trenches. Deb Murphy also filed a story from Monday's Bishop City Council meeting, noting the council approved a letter to the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power Commissioners offering strong recommendations on the department's lease policies. Those recommendations closely mirror those in correspondence sent last month by Inyo County Board of Supervisors, pointing out the discretionary proprietary departments have in the city charter's requirement for a competitive bidding process, the cornerstone of the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power's argument to revise lease policies that have been in practice for more than 80 years. Now, similar to Inyo County's letter, the city of Bishop asked for the following: family transfers be expanded beyond the immediate bloodlines, current lessees be given an option to purchase the land. A streamlined sales process should be based on reasonable market value, longer-term leases, reliable source of water for leased land, and Los Angeles should either maintain or sell structures on abandoned commercial leases. Bishop City Council got a reprieve from discussions on the implications of Proposition 64 legalizing recreational marijuana. Bishop City Attorney Ryan Jones, his trip to Bishop was curtailed by the weather. The agenda item was forwarded to the January 23rd meeting. Also, Elaine Cabala, the city's associate planner and economic development coordinator, discussed Bishop's Environmental Protection Agency Building Blocks for Sustainable Communities grant in the form of technical assistance to help the city meet some of its goals. Cabala said EPA staff would conduct public workshops sometime in the spring, and a steering committee would be set up 6 weeks prior to the workshop. Now, the list of goals to be prioritized include review and update of municipal codes, possible reuse of vacant or underused properties, promote infill, parking issues, property improvements, and the walkability of the downtown area in Bishop. We'll be back with more news.